Time now for my review of the Criminal Enterprises update for GTA Online. As always, we're going to go over the pros, the cons, as well as my verdict. And I want to know what you thought about this update. Your pros, your cons, your verdict regarding the Criminal Enterprises. Welcome below in the comments section. So let's get started with the pros, which is the much needed quality of life improvements to GTA Online. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to try and cover most of them. And for the record, I'm glad that Rockstar finally addressed a lot of these issues that we've been asking them to fix and improve upon for several years now. The quality of life improvements include, but are not limited to, the broomstick being nerfed, aka the Presser Mark II, the ability to access snacks and armor via the weapon wheel, sourcing and selling and invite friend lobbies, high demand bonus increase for public lobby sales. By the way, The Professional made a really good video about how you can actually make more money doing sales in public lobbies instead of invite friend lobbies, even though I personally am okay with making the amount of money I'm making in invite friend lobbies when it comes to sales. Less hassle, less risk. But if you're all about the high risk, high reward when it comes to sales, feel free and check out Pro's video, linked below in the description section. There's also pay boosts for bodyguards, associates, MC members, as well as OG Heist, Doomsday Finales get a pay raise, 75% for Fleeka, Humane Labs, Prison Break, Series A funding, 50% pay boost for Pacific Standard, as well as Doomsday Acts 1, 2, and 3. There's also pay boosts for races, adversary modes, no longer being charged for destroying griefer, try-hard, weaponized vehicles. All too often when you're in a public lobby, you find yourself being attacked by somebody in a broomstick or a laser or some other vehicle they like to use to grief other players with. And when you destroy their vehicle in retaliation and self-defense, you get charged for it. Well, thanks to the Criminal Enterprises update, you no longer get charged for destroying weaponized vehicles. Another thing that Rockstar has done to cut down griefing in public lobbies is remove the KD from public lobbies. It's still like a factor in the various PvP modes like death matches, adversary modes, etc. But you can no longer earn or raise your KD by hiding in a facility or spamming people or flying around griefing people with the broomstick. There are many great mysteries surrounding GTA Online. One of them is why Rockstar decided to have KD as a thing in public lobbies to begin with. But fortunately, that is now a thing of the past. Vehicles are now delivered faster by the mechanic. Low grit tires are available for all vehicles via LS Car Meet. The Avenger and MOC can now accommodate any vehicle that can fit inside the Avenger and MOC, except for the broomstick, which obviously has its own vehicle, the Terabyte. Players now have the ability to jog in the nightclubs, music locker, as well as the Diamond Casino, and countermeasures have been added to the Sparrow helicopter. You can now purchase max ammo for all weapons in the interaction menu, and you can also hang up on contacts. You know, all too often, these various NPCs will call you over and over and over again. Some of them you can hang up on, and others you just have to sit there and listen to them. Now you can hang up on them. Doesn't matter. Just hang up on them, move on. So that's definitely an improvement in my opinion. Now, as with standard updates, we always get new content, and that's technically a pro. New vehicles, new weapons, new clothing, tattoos, even a new hairstyle for both male and female characters. We now have the ability to own up to 10 properties, which roughly translates into up to 20 more vehicles that you can own in GTA Online. There was also expansions to the businesses. For example, executives, you can now source additional special cargo with Lupe. 2 new sources of special cargo added to source missions. For bikers, you have the ability to modify sell client bikes via the custom bike shop, very similar to vehicles in the auto shop. You have 2 new clubhouse contracts, NPCs hanging out in your clubhouse, and you also will get bars resupply missions for the bikers. For the gun runners, you're getting daily deliveries for ammunition stores. 2 new resupply missions, the ability to call Agent 14 from the road to increase your research progress. And nightclub owners will be able to source via Johan for nightclub warehouse, call Tony to launch club management missions, plus 2 new club management missions, eject troublemakers from the nightclub, and take passed out VIPs to safe locations off-site. And there's also going to be some first-time and limited-time payout boosts as well in this update. There are 6 new IAA contact missions, Operation Paper Trail with ULP, how he survived the events of GTA 5, once again, one of those many mysteries that we'll probably never have the answer to. The 6 new IAA contact missions are playable 1 to 4 players, and they did a good job, in my opinion, crafting the missions to where you could play them all solo, but they do become more challenging if you have 2 to 4 players, so I do like that aspect of these contact missions, but at the same time, the Operation Paper Trail does feel like some sort of direct-to-video sequel to the Doomsday Heist. Another pro is we do have plenty of more content coming soon, courtesy of the Criminal Enterprises update. We're going to have updates to the race creator, as well as racing on Cayo Perico. Hopefully, eventually, they'll add more stuff for us to do on Cayo Perico, like death matches, adversary modes, LTSs. Perhaps we'll be able to eventually use Cayo Perico for making future jobs in the creator. There's also obviously going to be tons of vehicles stripped over the next few months, new Halloween content, and the dealerships will soon be added to GTA Online, featuring vehicles from the Criminal Enterprises update, and perhaps even a few older popular vehicles as well. The Sterling GT has an HSW upgrade if you're interested in that. Plus, there are new mods, liveries for the Zentorno as well as the Turismo R. And my 2 favorite cars out of this update as an additional pro is the Torero XO, an amazing supercar, as well as the newest agency vehicle that myself, Riley, and many others have fallen in love with, the ominous EGT. This car is absolutely amazing, and it takes a ton of rockets before it's destroyed. I think 12 rockets before it's blown up. So it can take a beating. And because it's an agency vehicle, it obviously has the armor, as well as the Imani tech, the remote control ability, but more importantly, that lock-on disabled feature, which prevents other players from being able to lock on to you with homing missiles, rockets, which is very beneficial if you intend on spending more time in public lobbies than friend invite lobbies in GTA Online, which is absolutely essential for players that prefer public lobbies over the friend invite lobbies, especially if you're going to try and go for that high demand bonus increase for sales in public lobbies. High risk, high reward. You might as well do it in the brand new ominous EGT. From the pros to the cons, we have quite a few because there's always cons in these updates, no matter how good or average they happen to be. Criminal Enterprises is no exception. The Cayo Perico 2.5 hour cooldown. For the record, I don't really care for cooldowns for the most part, unless they're like oriented towards, say, the orb cannon. I think that thing shouldn't even be in the game anyways, but we'll talk more about the orb cannon later. Cayo Perico. Look, I don't grind Cayo Perico. Every now and then I'll play it if somebody has a finale. So I'm not really religiously involved in playing Cayo Perico every single day to make money, because there's way more ways to make money now, especially since you can do a lot of these sell missions, including the nightclub sell mission, in a friend invite lobby without having to be attacked by tryhards and griefers. I just don't think the 2.5 hour cooldown is necessary for the Cayo Perico heist. But for any player that think it's the end of the world that Cayo Perico has a major cooldown, like I mentioned already, there's other ways to make money in the game, including buffs to OG heists, as well as the Doomsday heists. And the casino heists are really good as well. Plus, there's, obviously other money-making opportunities every week in GTA Online to take advantage of. But still, I feel like that cooldown is a little long when it comes to the Cayo Perico heist, and in my opinion, not really necessary. The Precision Sniper Rifle. Now, it's been a long time since we've had a new sniper rifle added to GTA Online, and a lot of us were very excited about this rifle. Unfortunately, it is definitely a con for a few reasons. It's $400,000, and to top it off, it's iron sights only. You cannot equip a scope. There is no scope available at this time for the Precision Sniper Rifle. Maybe in the future, Rockstar will give us a Precision Sniper Rifle Mark II where you can get a scope for it, but that seems like a no-brainer to me. It's a sniper rifle. Most people that like to use sniping rifles like to have a scope on their sniping rifle. To add insult to injury, it takes 4 body shots for a kill. 2 if you're using BST, plus it's a bolt action, which means a slower fire rate. Overall, a sniper rifle that's too expensive and lacking in modifications. I would not recommend you get the sniper rifle. I would just stick with a heavy sniper rifle. It's been in the game since day one, and I still prefer it over the Precision Sniper Rifle, and it's cheaper. The other con is revolved around the M16 because it's either MIA, waiting to be drip fed out, or some sort of weird mystery where some players have claimed to have gotten the parts for the M16 through these various events that have popped up RNG style throughout GTA Online and free mode. Some people say they have the M16, some people say they don't have it yet. It's really weird the way Rockstar is handling the M16. I wish they would have just put it in the store to begin with, or make it to where you could acquire it, say, during one of the IAA missions. You just happen to stumble across it, similar to that shotgun in the Cayo Perico finale. That would have been a cool way to get the M16 instead of the way that they're doing it or going to be doing it in GTA Online. So at the moment, even though I'm excited about getting the M16 or the M4, I know it has an official name. I forgot what the name is. I am excited to get this rifle, but the way they're doing it seems a little odd and definitely a con. Now we go to the not-so-friendly skies of GTA Online for the next con, which is the Kanata helicopter. It's not worth it. And if you want more information as to why the Kanata helicopter is not worth purchasing, feel free and check out Riley's video linked below in the description section. And that leads me to the next con. No new attack helicopters, a missed opportunity for the Kanata, by the way, and no new fighter jets or additional hangar space for anyone that happens to be a pilot in GTA Online. I don't understand why Rockstar doesn't give the pilots the ability to own up to 2 hangars, 1 in LSIA, 1 in Fort Z, or at the very least, increase the storage capacity. But here's hoping that eventually they'll get around to coming up with some improvements for the hangar business, as well as more hangar space, and perhaps even some new aircraft for all the pilots out there in the game. While I was praising one of the agency vehicles in my pro section, I have to give the Greenwood a big con. It's Sweet's Whip from San Andreas, so there's obviously some nostalgia. It's a beautiful looking car for its time, but the price tag, $1 to $1.4 million. I seriously doubt Sweet had that kind of money to shell out for the Greenwood back in the 90s. And I don't know if it's one of those classic cars that would have increased in value from the 90s till now to be worth $1 to $1.4 million. But the other issue I have with the Greenwood vehicle is very similar to the ominous EGT. It is an agency vehicle, but it takes way less rockets to destroy than the ominous EGT. And while we're on the subject of new vehicles, I think that all the new vehicles that come out, as long as they're not actual weaponized military vehicles, should automatically come with the ability to upgrade through both the agency as well as LS car meet via HSW upgrades. And I would like to see Rockstar go back and give agency and HSW upgrades to popular cars from previous updates as well. But as of right now, we only have 2 agency vehicles that were added courtesy of this update, and as we talked about in the pro section, only 1 HSW vehicle, which was the Sterling GT. I think there might be 1 or 2 more agency and HSW vehicles coming in the drip, but that does lead us to my next con, the drip feed. Now look, originally in previous reviews, I considered the drip feed a con in the early days of the drip, but I do understand why Rockstar drips these vehicles out in order to keep interest in GTA Online for weeks and months to come. But in this case, I feel like there's too many drip-fed vehicles. 1 to 3 more vehicles added on day 1, I think would have been a lot preferable for everybody. But they have so many drip-fed vehicles right now that it's going to go on for at least 2 or 3 more months. So from perhaps now through December, you're going to get vehicles slowly but surely drip-fed in GTA Online, which is a good thing for some and a bad thing for everybody else because there might be a vehicle like the 10F that some of you might be interested in, and it could very well end up being the last vehicle that they end up dripping out. While I've grown to accept drip in the GTA Online, I just feel like the drip is a bit too big in the case of this update. And if I'm being honest, most of the vehicles that are being drip fed out, I'm not really interested in, except for maybe 1, 2, or perhaps even 3. Another con, nothing has been done about the orb cannon issue. I personally think that they should just remove the orb cannon from the game and refund everybody that purchased the orb cannon, but at the very least, they could have done something to combat the orb cannon issues, aka orb spamming, which has now found its way on current gen, aka the milked editions of GTA Online. Nothing has also been done regarding God mode or off-the-radar glitches. Obviously, there was a lot of quality of life improvements made to GTA Online courtesy of the Criminal Enterprises update, but it feels like they may have missed a few requests, such as orb spamming, God mode, off the radar. I don't know if that has something to do with the shit peer-to-peer servers that we happen to be on, which probably makes it more difficult for Rockstar to be able to address and come up with solutions to most of those issues. God mode, off the radar, orb spam, it's easy. Just remove the orb cannon. The next con is GTA scam is still a thing, but I find it rather hilarious and further proof that it is in fact a scam. When they announced that one of the cars would be available for free, they didn't even give people that paid $6 a month for GTA Plus scam access to the car for like a week or two. No, it became available day one. So yeah, they got the Lampadati for free. Well, technically not for free because they shelled out $6. The rest of us had to pay $1.8 million in GTA money, which really isn't that much. It's a nice sports car, nothing special, but definitely not worth $6 US. And finally, we have a conspiracy con, which may or may not be true, but it probably is true. Now might be a good time to reach for the tinfoil. I think that Rockstar has made the NPC drivers way more aggressive courtesy of this update. Now, obviously, I can't prove it. I think this, a few others I've talked to feel the same way during live streams and whenever I'm just playing by myself in a friend lobby, my vehicle spawns in. NPCs are just slamming into it with no regard. Or I'm driving down the road, right? And all of a sudden an NPC will just slam into the back, rear-ending my car. It just feels like either intentionally or unintentionally with this update, Rockstar has made the driver NPCs come across as a little bit more aggro than in the past. But once again, that con could be nothing more than a conspiracy. Okay, one more con. It's revolved around the immersion that the trailer and the update itself tries to sell when it comes to the criminal enterprises. In the trailer and during cutscenes for the IAA missions, there's dialogue about gas prices going up, as well as the heat, how hot and scorching the summer is, which is supposed to play on what's happening in real life. Because in real life, obviously, gas prices are up, and it's extremely hot in the Northern Hemisphere, especially for summers. It's hotter than usual. Record temperatures in North America, in the British Isles, Ireland, the UK, Europe, elsewhere. Obviously, very, very hot. However, despite the fact they also cut a Weasel News segment for the radio stations to talk about the rising gas prices and temperatures, if you go to the gas stations, and credit to my friend Mr. Tay Daniel, he did this the night before during his stream. I was watching. The gas prices then was $3.39, $3.49, $3.69. And if you go to the gas stations post Criminal Enterprises, they're the same. $3.39, $3.49, $3.69. Rockstar didn't go and update the gas prices at the gas stations. Now, I don't know if they can actually do that. They can with some billboards across the map, but maybe they couldn't actually do that with the prices at the gas station. Another thing that kind of sort of kills the drought and the heat that they talk about in Weasel News and the cutscenes with the dialogue regarding gas prices and how hot it is, the fact that the weather pattern, the weather rotation in the game is the same. It's usually half the time it's sunny, the other half it's raining in Los Santos and southern San Andreas. once again, kind of killing that immersion that they're trying to set with the Criminal Enterprises update. There's the pros, the cons. Time now for my verdict regarding Criminal Enterprises. It does add a lot of much needed quality of life fixes, improvements to the game that should have been made years ago, but better late than ever, I guess. The businesses received additional content, which are much needed. Most of the new clothing and vehicles, except for the Torero XO, as well as the ominous EGT, feels just kind of meh. It's like, it's new content, but I don't really care for it. Like we mentioned already, the helicopter could have been so much more, as well as the new sniper rifle. The IA missions are just copy-pasta contact missions, hybrid between that and a sequel to Doomsday Heist. Most players will just play them once for the experience and for the vehicle discounts, never to touch them again, especially after the, the double money window goes away for the IA contact missions. The fact is, this update feels like the bottom of the barrel, and a reminder how long in the tooth GTA Online has become over the past 8+ years, even on PS5 and Xbox Series, which launched back in March of this year. Even with performance and performance RT on PS5, Xbox Series, I still feel like that this game is rather old and most likely only has a few more updates left in the old girl before Rockstar finally has to move on to Red Dead Online. Oh, that's right. It wouldn't surprise me if eventually they end up regretting that decision to abandon Red Dead Online, especially since this update is just a reminder of how old GTA Online happens to be. And I do feel like the player base is going to continue to get smaller and smaller. Not at the same levels of Red Dead Online, but I think that interest is waning in GTA Online even after the summer update, which was pretty average. Especially with most of the content being locked away to be drip fed from now to probably December 2022. And I hope that the update that comes out at the end of the year is amazing, that it actually revitalizes GTA Online, that it adds something fresh and new. With the exception of what they did last year with the contract update, bringing back Franklin and Lamar. Maybe they bring back Michael and Trevor from GTA 5 or other popular characters, and they center an update around them, or some sort of expansion with North Yankton, or dare I dream once again, Liberty City. I just don't know what else Rockstar can do to breathe new, fresh life into GTA Online. Besides Michael, or an expansion, or something new and exciting that doesn't feel like more of the same copy pasta, which is basically what I was feeling from the Criminal Enterprises update, obviously except for the quality of life improvements. And I hope they continue with the quality of life improvements into the December 2022 update as well, because there's a lot more things that need to be improved, fixed, and rebalanced in GTA Online. Now, I want to know your thoughts, your views, your opinions, your pros, your cons, and your verdict when it comes to GTA Online's The Criminal Enterprises update. As always, welcome below in the comments section.